It was a crisp Saturday evening, the kind that hugs your skin with the cool edge of twilight. And I was laughing with a few old college buddies over drinks in a rustic cabin just outside Asheville. Time off was a rare currency for me, especially since Rachel and I had poured a decade of sweat and soul into building our events company from nothing. Weddings, corporate launches, elite fundraisers, we had become one of the most trusted names in the city. So when my phone buzzed and Rachel's name lit up the screen, I instinctively stepped outside, leaving behind the echo of laughter and the clink of glasses. The second I answered, her tone hit like a slap, casual, almost cheerful. "Hey," she said lightly, "just wanted to let you know I'm divorcing you." I didn't say a word. Not right away. I just stood there, eyes fixed on the trees, wondering if I'd misheard. And she added with a breathy, giddy laugh, "I sold the business. All of it to investors in Miami. My new partner, his name's Adam Weir, starting over. Without you, it's better this way." Silence followed. On the call. In my chest. In the space between what I thought I knew and what I was suddenly seeing for the first time. Then, with every ounce of control I had, I replied, "Good for you." She must have been expecting a meltdown, pleading fury, maybe even threats. But all she got was composure. She laughed again, victorious. "You always were too damn cold, Matthew. That's why I'm done. Adam makes me feel alive." Click. The call ended. I stood there for another long moment, the cold biting at my face while the wind whispered through the trees. Then I tucked my phone back into my pocket and walked back inside like nothing had happened. But inside me, everything had shifted. Rachel thought she'd just orchestrated the perfect betrayal, burned the bridge, and walked away from the fire. What she didn't know was that I had spent the last 8 months preparing for this exact moment. When I pulled into our driveway 2 days later, Rachel stood near the garage like a smug portrait of confidence, arms folded, heels clicking sharply. Against the stone walkway, her white blouse crisp and deliberate, designer sunglasses perched perfectly. That smug little grin said it all. She thought this was the moment I'd grovel, beg her to reconsider, plead for a scrap of what she'd taken. But when I stepped out of the car and popped the trunk, her smile twitched, because instead of desperation or luggage, I pulled out a clipboard, a legal folder, and a manila envelope. Her brow furrowed. "What's that?" she asked, the first crack in her confidence forming. I didn't answer right away. I calmly unlocked the door, stepped aside, and gestured for her to enter. She hesitated, then followed. The moment we were inside the foyer, I handed her the clipboard. "That's the property deed," I said quietly. "Transferred out of our joint ownership 8 months ago. Legally, this house belongs to me alone." She blinked. "Wait. What? You signed off on it?" I interrupted. "Back in January, remember that stack of documents I told you was for tax restructuring? You didn't even glance through them." Mouth opened, but no words came. I handed her the manila envelope. "Those are the wire transfers, the ones you authorized when you sold the company." She narrowed her eyes. "You saw them?" "I arranged them," I said calmly. Her face paled like she'd swallowed glass. I stepped in a little closer. "The investors in Miami? They're not who you think. They're my friends. Contacts I built through my corporate network. You never paid attention to our silent shareholders, did you?" She took a half step back, her breath shallow. "You thought you stole my company," I said, my voice low and cold. "But all you did was sell it back to people who already worked for me. You sold my shares to me." She looked like she was about to faint. Her hands trembled. Her lips parted. "So I still own the business," I finished. "And you have nothing? You're bluffing?" she spat. I handed her the final folder. "Legal declaration from our prenup 1. I had slipped into that same tax stack months ago. It clearly stated that in the event of infidelity or deliberate business sabotage, she forfeited all claims to joint assets." "You declared yourself, Rachel, on the phone." I recorded it, the smile she wore when she thought she'd destroyed me. It was gone now, erased. "You might want to call your new partner," I added as I walked past her into the kitchen. "His name's Adam, right?" Her voice cracked. "Oh, you wouldn't." I turned, a slow smile crossing my face. Oh, I already did. And trust me, he's going to be even more furious than you. She stood frozen in the foyer, clutching the legal documents like they were made of fire. I walked into the kitchen, poured myself a glass of water, and pulled out my phone. You're bluffing, she hissed, stepping in after me. Adam wouldn't. I held up a hand and tapped the speaker button. It rang once, twice. Then Adam's voice filled the room. Yeah, Adam, I said casually. It's me. Just a heads up, Hinf. Canceled your consulting contract, revoked your company card access, and alerted your firm about the misuse of funds. Expect a legal notice soon. A pause. What the hell are you talking about? He demanded. You didn't think I'd sit back while you and Rachel siphoned money from my company, did you? Wait, what? Rachel lunged for the phone. Adam, don't listen to him. He's trying to. You told me you owned the company? Adam Sheldon. You told me your husband was just some idiot plumber with a title? I smiled. She told him that. She told me she was going to Miami for a few meetings, Adam continued. You used my name to move funds. The firm's going to crucify me. Could lose my damn license. Rachel's face drained of all color. You said you knew people at the bank, she cried. You said your husband was an idiot, Adam snapped. I let the silence sit for a beat. One more thing, Adam, I said, voice razor sharp. I CC'd the IRS on the forensic audit I ran last week. You know? Just to be thorough. Click. The line went dead. Rachel dropped the phone like it burned her. You don't understand, she whispered. I gave up everything for this. I stepped closer, voice flat and final. No, Rachel. You took everything until there was nothing left to take. She collapsed into the nearest chair, shaking, mascara trailing down her cheeks. Please, we can fix this. There's nothing to fix, I said coldly. You're out of the house, out of the company. And soon, out of options. She looked up, eyes glimmering with one last flicker of hope. But you still have something. Her hope ignited for one breath. A court summons said, I'm pressing charges for embezzlement, fraud, and breach of contract. The courtroom was packed. Rachel entered in a dull gray suit, her once flawless image now unraveling beneath scandal, whispered rumors and stacks of damning paperwork. She scanned the room nervously. No family, no friends, just reporters. Scribbling in the back row, I sat quietly at the plaintiff's table, flanked by my attorney. The judge looked down at the pile of evidence. This is quite a case, he murmured. Embezzlement, forgery, unauthorized wire transfers, fraudulent sale documents. Miss Rachel Thompson, how do you plead? Not guilty, Your Honor, her lawyer replied, his voice shaky and without conviction. I watched as the court clerk projected emails onto a large screen. Rachel's messages to Adam detailing how she'd reallocate funds. How I was oblivious. Then came the audio recordings captured by our home security microphones months ago. Just sell it under his name, she said in one. He signs anything. We'll drain the accounts. We'll book the transfer. Disappear. Rachel went ghost pale. Her lawyer whispered urgently, but she didn't respond. Her eyes stayed fixed on the screen, now displaying her digital signature authorizing a $400,000 transfer to a private offshore account. Then came the final blow. Exhibit 19, my lawyer said. A copy of the official business ownership structure. Before the sale, Mr. Daniels retained full ownership. Mrs. Thompson had zero equity. The judge looked directly at Rachel. You attempted to sell a company you didn't even legally own. Silence. Then Rachel cracked. He was never supposed to fight back, she screamed. He was always passive. I thought he wouldn't miss. Thompson, control yourself, the bailiff warned. But it was too late. She was shaking, crying, unraveling. This isn't fair, she whispered. This isn't how it was supposed to go. The judge slammed the gavel. Enough. Then to me, Mr. Daniels, given the emotional damage and scale of fraud, you may pursue punitive damages. I'm authorizing an asset freeze on the defendant until further investigation. Rachel looked at me with bloodshot, desperate eyes. I didn't gloat. I didn't smirk. I trusted her, I told the judge quietly. She turned love into a business deal. So now, I'm treating it like one. 3 months passed since the verdict. Rachel was out on bail, stripped of everything. No access to funds, no reputation. And, most ironically, no relationship. Adam disappeared. After the court transcripts hit the media, and the financial scandal went public, his firm dropped him instantly. His old money family cut him off. Apparently even they had standards. Rachel reached out to me once, just once. A late-night email. I know I made mistakes. I'm sorry. I have nowhere to go. Not out of spite, but because I was. Finally free, the business always legally mined was thriving again. After the press coverage, investors flooded back. I rebranded, renamed, rebuilt. We broke 7 figures in months, but that wasn't the victory. The real victory was walking into my new apartment. Overlooking the city, breathing in a silence that wasn't lonely, it was peaceful. Freedom doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just feels like breathing for the first time in years. As for Rachel, I heard whispers. She was couch surfing, burning bridges faster than she realized they existed. Her boyfriend left the moment she became a liability. One of her former friends called me. She's telling people you set her up. Let her, I replied. The truth is, on record and karma's memory is sharper than mine. Months later, I opened an old email account and found one last message from her. I was wrong. I thought I was chasing excitement. I didn't realize I was throwing away the only man who ever truly cared. He didn't deserve that. She was right. I didn't. Some people pay for their lessons in full. Hers came with interest in me. I moved on, richer, wiser, and finally, completely free.